This is RTV6 News at 11, working for you.
Acting with compassion and love, we will heal the sick, care for those in need, help our fellow citizens, and emerge from this challenge stronger and more unified than ever before.
President Trump shares a message in prime time as the coronavirus outbreak continues to spread across the U.S. Good evening at 11 o'clock. I'm Mark Mullins.
And I'm Amanda Starrentino. Just hours ago, the president announced new measures to fight the spread of COVID-19 and provide relief to the economy.
And we will get to that shortly. First, we start with breaking news. Minutes after the president's address, the NBA dropped a bombshell. Let's get right to RTV6's Brad Brown.
Amanda and Mark, it was only a matter of time before the concerns about the virus had a major effect on sports in this country. The latest comes from the NBA. The league suspending the entire season after Utah Jazz player Rudy Gobert tests positive for COVID-19. This all went down tonight in Oklahoma City. The Jazz were getting set to play the Thunder. Gobert had been listed as inactive tonight due to an illness. He was not at the arena, but minutes before tip-off, both teams were sent to the locker room. And a half hour later, the PA announcer said the game had been canceled, although no reason was given. Then, just about 90 minutes ago, the league announced it was suspending its entire season until further notice. Still about 5 weeks left before the playoffs were scheduled to begin, and no idea what kind of timetable we will see to getting things going in the NBA again. Now, earlier today, one of the biggest events on the sports calendar took a major hit from the coronavirus. March Madness will still go on, including some of it right here in Indianapolis, but there will now be thousands and thousands of empty seats. Here's today's statement from NCAA President Mark Emmert. This year's basketball tournaments and other championships will be played as scheduled, but not open to the general public. That will include the men's Midwest Regional, scheduled to be held here at Lucas Oil Stadium. Here's the short version of it. The games will be open only to the teams and their staff, and a limited number of immediate family will be allowed in as well, along with media and arena personnel. It starts with the first 4 games in Dayton on Tuesday. Among the NCAA men's tourney sites are Cleveland and St. Louis on the opening weekend, Indy for the Sweet 16 and Elite 8 round. By the way, Fort Wayne is also hosting a women's regional that last weekend of March. Same rules will apply. The Big Ten men's tournament got started tonight. At least for this evening, it was business as usual at Bankers Life Fieldhouse. But soon after the NCAA made its March plans known, the Big Ten followed suit. More than 10,000 fans downtown tonight for the first 2 games, but the Big Ten announcing it will play the rest of the weekend with the same limited access to the Fieldhouse. Just teams and staff, a short list of family members, and media only. Minnesota won tonight's first game. Here's head coach Richard Pitino talking about what his team will face tomorrow.
It's going to be weird for both teams. You know, I mean, obviously it's a tough decision for everybody in college basketball and all sports. But, you know, it's got to be about the game on the court, regardless of who's in the building.
And also new tonight, right here close to home, UIndy is hosting an 8-team regional of the Division II men's tournament this weekend. Those games will not be open to the general public. A limited number of family members from each team will be allowed in, again, along with team staff and media. Those games start on Saturday. I checked with the IHSAA tonight about the boys basketball tournament. The regionals are this weekend all over the state. They said unless the governor or the health department advises against it, they are going to go along as scheduled. Same for the gymnastics state finals, but obviously it's a fluid situation.
You know, Brad, you mentioned that there will be thousands and thousands and thousands of empty seats here. So that's a lot of people who had tickets purchased. What happens to those people that paid the money already?
Yeah, if you have tickets, go to your point of purchase, whether it be on Ticketmaster, online, through the schools, through the box office, wherever that is. Refunds are being issued. All that information is really out there online and continues to be updated going forward.
These ripple effects. All right, thanks, Brad. Amanda.
And our team coverage continues with RTV6's Cornelius Hawker and Cameron Riddle, covering the huge economic impact of these latest developments. We start with Cornelius, who found a place that's hoping their sweet treats will entice the fans who stick around Indy to come visit them on the Circle.
With a sign right in front of their business welcoming Big Ten visitors, the South Bend Chocolate Company is anticipating more customers than usual. Despite the recent announcement, fans won't be allowed to watch the games in person because of COVID-19.
People who have tickets, people who have probably flown from out of town, what else are they going to do? They're going to walk around, explore the city maybe.
Rianne Colson says they're looking at the situation with a half-glass full type of mentality.
They come and they see our store and it makes them want to come back.
Fans heading to Wednesday's Big Ten games lucked out. They were allowed in, but that won't be the case for the rest of the games, something this fan thinks is the right call.
And whether someone would rather pay $100 for a seat or watch from a TV, you should still think that this is for your players, this is for your school, to make a safe choice.
Sean Gallagher knows not everyone feels like him. Many people have spent hundreds, if not thousands of dollars to come to Indianapolis, and businesses could potentially lose out on customers that decide to skip the Big Ten weekend altogether.
I think it's obviously difficult to lose money with that, but it's keeping athletes safe and it's keeping fans safe and people in the executive offices safe, and safety is obviously the main issue.
Back at South Bend Chocolate Company, they're optimistic, and they also want people to know they're doing everything they can to keep their store clean for customers.
We are taking the precautions, sanitizing.
Working for you in downtown Indy, Cornelius Hawker, RTV6.
And RTV6 is working to learn what impact these latest cancellations could have on Indiana's tourism industry.
Our Cameron Riddle joins us now with a look at how much money is at stake.
Good evening. The news from the NCAA that they would be hosting games without fans in attendance inside the arena was devastating news to multiple cities across the country, including the city of Indianapolis. As you know, we have a lot of games scheduled to be hosted here in the city, and so much of it, of our economy here, is built up on hospitality and tourism, industries that depend on events like the Big Ten, like the Elite Eight, and the Sweet 16. It just so happened that members of Indy's tourism industry gathered tonight for the Rose Awards, a ceremony honoring the city's best workers in the hospitality sector here in Indianapolis. That includes Hoosiers working in hotels, restaurants, and transportation. Ironically, the large crowd those hospitality workers were in tonight here at the ceremony is one of the last they may see for some time, with less visitors coming to the city for the Big Ten tourney. New numbers from Visit Indy show the city was projecting $15 million in revenue from the Big Ten alone. The Sweet 16 and Elite 8 set at Lucas Oil Stadium was projected to bring in 50,000 attendees and an additional $20 million in economic impact. Indianapolis Mayor Joe Hogsett was also in attendance tonight, and he encouraged everyone not to shake hands, but instead do the Indy elbow bump. We talk with elected leaders as well as business leaders about how the city will respond to the growing coronavirus pandemic and the impact it is now forcing on the city's economy.
The drop in revenue that we're looking at for the year is going to be irreplaceable at this point. So yeah, it's a concern. And so you look at it and you say, you know, how do we adjust our operations? And if there's nobody coming to the hotel, you adjust your operation accordingly. You don't have a choice. So it will be painful, absolutely.
I think as far as the tourism component of our city, which has become a growing component of our economic portfolio, it's going to be difficult to weather through this, but I think the city will pull together and manage to make it all work. We do know we've been through any number of situations. I've been doing this for more than 25 years and been through 9/11s and H1N1s and the 2008 economic downturn. Really nothing like this. I don't think any of us have seen anything like this before.
And Leonard Hoops, who you heard from there, is the CEO of Visit Indy. He called tonight's decision by the NCAA a blow to Indy's tourism economy. Much more to come on this tomorrow and in the coming days ahead. Downtown, I'm Cameron Riddle, RTV6.
And the outbreak also continues to impact classrooms across Indiana. Butler and Ball State are the latest universities to suspend in-person classes. Butler says it will extend spring break until 1 week from today. Then all courses will be conducted through virtual instruction through at least Saturday, April 4th. And starting Monday at Ball State, all in-person classes are suspended for the rest of the entire spring semester. We also heard from Franklin College and Marian University officials tonight. Both schools are continuing with in-person classes at this time.
Now back to President Trump's address. Tonight he announced several new measures to fight the spread of COVID-19, including suspending all travel between the U.S. and Europe for 30 days. That starts Friday and excludes the United Kingdom. He also outlined plans to help workers and businesses.
Effective immediately, the SBA will begin providing economic loans in affected states and territories. These low-interest loans will help small businesses overcome temporary economic disruptions caused by the virus. To this end, I am asking Congress to increase funding for this program by an additional $50 billion. Using emergency authority, I will be instructing the Treasury Department to defer tax payments without interest or penalties for certain individuals and businesses negatively impacted.
There are more than 1,100 COVID-19 cases confirmed in the U.S. and more than 30 deaths. In Indiana, there are 11 reported cases of the virus and no deaths.
And in just the last few hours, there have been several major developments in the effort to prevent the spread of the coronavirus, including the diagnosis of actor Tom Hanks and his wife, Rita Wilson. You can find the latest information anytime on our website, theindychannel.com/coronavirus. And watch a special report from our Scripps national team, Coronavirus, The Facts, at 7 o'clock Friday evening only on RTV6.
Thunderstorms and a few may be severe tomorrow. We'll have more on the severe potential, and after that, there's even some snow in the forecast. We'll tell you when coming up.
Also coming up here on RTV6, a controversial proposal that will overrule efforts to help renters in Indianapolis is one big step closer to becoming law. You're watching RTV6 News at 11.
Days only at Ashley Home Store. This is home. This is RTV6 News at 11, working for you.
Right now at 11, lawmakers are still at the State House working on the last piece of legislation for the 2020 session. Earlier tonight, the Senate approved a bill that would take away the city of Indianapolis's ability to better regulate the relationship between a landlord and a tenant. If Governor Holcomb signs it into law, Senate Bill 148 would nullify two recently passed Indianapolis ordinances that require landlords to give tenants a notice of their rights and responsibilities, and sets aside $250,000 to help give tenants legal aid. The bill would also prohibit local units of government from regulating several aspects of a landlord-tenant relationship, including security deposits, leasing terms and conditions, and any fees charged by a landlord. For more on how this bill could impact you and reaction from the mayor and industry advocates, go to theindychannel.com and click on this story.
40 years in prison is the sentence for a 16-year-old Indianapolis boy accused of killing a brother and sister on the Northeast Side. Demetria Sanders agreed to a plea deal in the murders of 16-year-old Nicholas Nelson and 15-year-old Ashlyn Nelson. The teenagers were shot to death in their apartment near 42nd and Post last August. Sanders is also ordered to serve 5 years on home detention.
A small restaurant chain has closed up shop in Indianapolis. This week, Louie's Wine Dive and Mass Ave Kitchen announced its last day of operation was Monday. About 6 months ago, Louie's in Broad Ripple closed. That location is one of several restaurants on College Avenue that have closed since work on the Red Line started, including Hoity Toity and Sobro Cafe. Nearby Taste of Havana has also relocated. And on the west side, Indianapolis International Airport is celebrating new business. Today, MAC Cosmetics held a ribbon-cutting ceremony at its new location in Concourse B. So why would a high-end makeup company want a store in an airport?
We think that our consumer that travels through the Indianapolis airport will be excited. I call it surprise and delight, where they don't expect to experience this concept, but when they do, sometimes it's their first interaction with the brand, and they walk away with a lasting experience about MAC as well as the airport.
I like the convenience. The new location is part of a concessions refresh program at Indianapolis International Airport, which includes 15 new businesses. It's been neat to see which businesses are coming in.
Coming in and going, right? Exactly. Good to see that there. Kevin's here now with our Storm Team 6 forecast. It has been some gloomy days out. This is the start of the work week.
Let me say Sunday could be our day for sunshine. There's a lot that happens between now and then.
Sunday, right?
Yeah, what a night it's been, huh? Dry overnight. Thunderstorms will be ending at this time tomorrow night. We may see our first round of strong to isolated severe storms starting about 5 o'clock tomorrow in the western portion of the state. Typical Indiana weather. The threat for storms tomorrow, we may see snow around on Saturday mixing with rain. There's a marginal or low risk of severe storms just south of Indy to about Bedford and Seymour. Once you get south of Bedford and Seymour, the risk for severe storms goes up down into Kentucky and also Tennessee. I'm picking up the timeline 5 o'clock tomorrow evening. Just because the severe risk is greatest south doesn't mean we won't have some strong storms in the northern half of the state as well. 5 to 7, there's a line of storms sweeping across all of central Indiana. Between 7 and 9, that exits to the east. We'll come back and take a closer look at that in a second. Temperatures tomorrow, they'll take off. A stronger south wind
wind, 53 by noon tomorrow. Temperature of about 64 for the afternoon high. Winds will gust over 25 miles per hour. This is the temperature transition on the way just from tomorrow afternoon to Friday afternoon. Saturday will be our coldest day in the 7-day forecast, but there's a good temperature drop in the transition marked by the thunderstorms. Probability of rain and thunderstorms goes way up tomorrow evening, early evening before sunset, and then continues until about 10 o'clock in the evening. 6 o'clock, there are the thunderstorms, Lafayette, Crawfordsville to Sullivan and Terre Haute, right through the heart of central Indiana. 7 o'clock, take it to 9. That first push of widespread thunderstorms is through. We still got ongoing pockets where we may see heavy downpours of rain, but by 11 o'clock, starting to put that behind us. There's your rainfall potential, 1/3 of an inch to over 1/2 an inch in spots with the heavier downpours. Friday temperatures a lot cooler in the 40s for highs, upper 40s, but then we change that as we get to the weekend. These temperatures that sit closer to 50 will be lower 40s on Saturday. Sunday temperature 46 degrees, but that comes with sunshine. 7-day forecast over the next 7 days. Temperatures bounce around a little bit. Coolest Saturday. I think at times there could be mainly snow, but with the temperatures above freezing, that's melting on contact. Sunday 46, Monday back into the 50s right now. A St. Patrick's Day that looks mild and wet. 56 degrees with rain likely both Tuesday and Wednesday of next week.
Maybe just some like green rain boots or something.
Something, right?
Get creative.
Yeah. Thanks, Kevin, for that. Brad standing by with a look at sports. A busy night, Brad.
It turned into that indeed, Mark. Thanks. If you're wondering what the rest of March could look like, here's a peek at the Mid-American Conference Tournament in Cleveland. Just a few family members in the stands. Media there, too, and that's about it. The Ball State women playing one of the games this evening. The Cards lost by a point, and it'll all continue to look a lot like this all over the country as March continues. And good evening, everyone. It will be oddly quiet for the rest of the Big Ten tournament. Fans will not be allowed in Bankers Life Fieldhouse for the rest of the weekend. While IU probably did not want to be playing tonight, the 11th seed Hoosiers gave the fans that did get to see them a good show in round 1. The Hoosiers, though, found themselves trailing by 6 with 5 minutes left in the first half. But a 16-1 run ahead of halftime got it going in the right direction. Armand Franklin with this 3 put IU back in front, a lead they would keep the rest of the night. Justin Smith closed out the half with this putback score inside. That rebound had the Hoosiers up by 9 at the break. In the second half, they would extend that lead. Trace Jackson Davis, low angle, 2 of his 11 points. He also had a game-best 17 rebounds. Devontae Green off the bench tonight, just 2 of 8 from three-point range, but this one put the Hoosiers up by 21. Nebraska got it to 10, but Indiana finished strong after that. Al Durham with 3 more, 89-64 when it was all done. Indiana moving on, should secure their spot in the NCAA tournament. Here's Coach Archie Miller talking about the prospects of playing in empty arenas going forward.
You grind it out and you get to this point of the season. It's the most special time for our young guys. It's the most special time for, obviously, the fans. And to get here with this happening, obviously, is a little unfortunate. So I think we're all crossing our fingers. We're hoping for the best, which is allowing us to continue to play. But like I said, when experts speak up, you better listen. And I think the NBA just probably put the sporting world on hold. And, we'll hope for the best that, clearly we're preparing to play tomorrow.
Thursday's matchups are set for the second round. The game start at noon. Purdue's got Ohio State in the 10-7 matchup. That's a 6:30 start. IU Penn State is the nightcap going at around 9 o'clock. The top 4 seeds in the Big Ten will see their first action here on Friday. The state of Indiana is well represented at this week's NAIA national tournaments. 9 men's teams and 6 women's teams in the fields of 32. That includes both teams from Marion. The Knights women's team moving on to round 2 with a convincing win today. 77-55 over Voorhees College. Marion up 14 in the first quarter and pulled away. Center Amani Guy led the scoring with 20. Also had 14 rebounds. Abby Downard scored 17. The Taylor men The Taylor women also advanced. A 2-point winner over Union. They get Indiana Tech in round 2. Over on the men's side, there we go with Marion and IU Kokomo each winning. Top seed Indiana Wesleyan men play tomorrow. We're supposed to have a media avail with the Pacers tomorrow, where we get a little more of an update on what we're trying to figure out. What's happening with this NBA season that's not going forward in the immediate future, and hopefully we'll be back to the Big Ten for round 2 tomorrow as well.
Looking forward to hear what they have to say. All right, thanks, Brian.
We'll be right back.
People, Huntington, welcome.
Well, starting tomorrow, important documents from the government will start showing up in mailboxes across Marion County. Invitations to participate in the 2020 census. The Census Bureau conducts this count every 10 years. The census helps determine things like representation in Congress and funding for local schools, roads, and other public services. The mailed invitation will include instructions for how to respond to the 2020 census online or by phone. And for the first time, the census is available online to all households. Hiring Hoosiers is connecting you to career opportunities and resources.
And that includes help for people who face barriers in the job search.
Last night at 11, we showed you a Colorado business that embraces workers with different abilities.
And tonight, RTV6's Meredith Barrick shows how advocacy groups are educating Central Indiana employers to do the same.
Human beings in general are very good-natured and want to do the right thing. Most people that I talk to about diversity and inclusion work typically don't know any differently until a complaint comes in or until someone tells them about it.
And oftentimes, applicants aren't sure how to speak up for themselves, whether it's about a disability accommodation or a language barrier.
Employers can understand that the talent is there. It's a very resilient population. And if they can harness that and just give them the tools to be able to overcome that language barrier, they can also use the perspectives of these folks from different backgrounds who do things differently to be able to become more innovative in their workplaces and to even be able to further the work that they're doing.
That was just one topic covered during a recent event bringing together the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, advocacy groups, and professionals.
Companies get into habits and they recruit from only one spot, or they do this is the way we've always done it and this is the way we're going to do it. If you have those biases already, it's about identifying those things and then trying to figure out ways where you can get past that, and so that we can have a more diverse work group.
Shoemaker says his goal is to work himself out of a job by creating equal opportunities in workplaces across the Hoosier State.
You create an environment like that. If you break down the barriers to employment, you create an environment where it's a respectful workplace, it's a civil place, people want to work there, people do not want to leave, then a lot of the problems that you have in finding good talent are going to disappear because you already have it.
Working for you, Meredith Barrick, RTV6.
If you're an employer and you think you could do a better job when it comes to diversifying your workforce, Shoemaker says suggesting reaching out to the EEOC and other advocacy groups in the community. If you're a job seeker, organizations like Luna Language Services, Morales Group Staffing, and Tangram were created to help remove barriers in your search process. For more info, go to hiringhoosiers.com. We'll be right back.
Because we believe in fresh for everyone.
Time is running out to honor an historical icon with an Indiana connection. It's National Johnny Appleseed Day. Born in 1774, John Chapman walked across the nation and the frontier planting apple seeds. He's celebrated on March 11th because it's planting season. Chapman's grave is in Fort Wayne. The city celebrates by having a Johnny Appleseed Festival every year in September. That's when the pies are right on.
Okay. Looks good to me. Tomorrow, some spring-like storms. Southern half of the state, potential for strong to severe storms. And just to show you the timing, I'd say by the time we get to 5 in the evening, there they are in western Indiana, moving east right through central Indiana by 7 p.m.
Okay. Well, thanks so much for joining us.
GMI comes your way at 4:30 tomorrow morning. Have a good night.